It was such a beautiful song of commitment. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about growth and commitment. And we all have those moments where we need to decide who we are, what we're going to be. And we all feel like we're in the process of becoming, don't we? Mm-hmm. But if we don't decide, we never start the journey. Declaring, I will be, moves us from one level of consciousness to another. And when Jesus came to the earth, that was his job. He was to talk to the people so that they could move from one level of understanding to another level of understanding about themselves. He came to shift the state of being for mankind. To be born again, we hear the phrase a lot, to be born again literally means to shift your point of origin. That's what it means, to shift your point of origin. Everybody breathe. How simple is this?
Yeah.
All right. To shift your point of origin. I am not a Jew. I am a child of God. I am not a victim. I am a child of God. I am not mere mortal. I am a child of God. That was the shifting that occurred in his day and time. What would our shifting be today? I am not limited. I am a child of God. I am not one person to live one lifetime and never exist. I am a child of God. I can be greater. I am a child of God. It is important for all of us to embrace the idea that we can be born again daily by shifting the reference point of who we believe ourselves to be. All right. Jesus began teaching in his day simple behavior modification. And you know, we study the Sermon on the Mount, and the basic message of the Sermon on the Mount: be kind, love your enemy, do good, set aside your anger, create with an open heart. The idea was that these teachings would correct the internal activity, which would correct the world around them. If you change how you respond to the world, you will change how the world responds to you. So, simple, easy, kind of. We still go back to those teachings, those behavior modifications, the Sermon on the Mount all the time, because we're still learning at a higher level how to engage those where we are. But Jesus needed a way to impart a deeper truth. Truth that could go within the consciousness of the people, that could resonate and start to grow. And this truth needed to connect them with God, their Creator. So he spoke in parables. Parables. This is where you're talking about something that is obvious, but the truth in it resonates at a very deep level, and it may be very subtle. The parables that Jesus shared with us were all about connecting us to God, if you really look at all of them. So, I wanted to give you a little bit about what a parable is. I found this definition in one of my traditional Bibles, and I loved it. I think it's fabulous. A parable is an earthly story with a heavenly meaning. It's a familiar setting that lights up a profound truth. Something familiar that lights up a profound truth. And in the Aquarian, I'm in chapter 115, his disciples, he's begun to speak in parables to the people, but he spoke directly, gentle behavior modification first. Then they were ready for parables. Now let me tell you a story. And in the story, there's hidden meaning. So he's been telling some parables that were not quite obvious, and his disciples asked him, why are you speaking in parables? Why do you not just talk directly to us? And he said, my words, like every master's words, are dual in their sense. To you who know the language of the soul, my words have meaning far too deep for other men to comprehend. The other sense of what I say is all the multitude can understand. These words are food for them. The inner thoughts are food for you. Let everyone reach forth and take the food that he is ready to receive. And you know, we hear things all the time, don't we, where we'll get it at one level, and then we'll think about it in there's something else, and then we think about it and there's something else. You know, I know that all of us have seen a movie that stays with us, that perhaps had an underlying truth in it, and you want to talk about the movie and you can't stop thinking about the movie, and you say, did you get that? Did you see that? That was so cool when that happened. I saw the love there. Did you get that? And there's subtle things that are woven into the script of the activity that if you're just involved in the activity and the plot, you may miss. Isn't it exciting when you get fed by one of those beautiful stories that woven within the story has a profound truth? In our seminary class, I have the students write a modern-day parable. This is one of their assignments. Oh yes, fear and trepidation precedes it always. However, in writing a modern-day parable, they look for a universal truth. Parables always have to have a universal truth at its core. And there may be morals or behavior modification in the parable, but there's always a truth that is not based on culture, religion. It's a truth that anyone in any society would understand. It's the language of God, the language of love. And so that's what Jesus was embedding into all of the parables. Based on our studies, there are 5 types of parables, and we're going to be studying them this month. Yay! Today, I'm going to talk with you about 2 types of parables. I'm talking with you about parables of growth and parables of commitment. So 1:16, 17, and 19. Jesus again is talking to his disciples. And it's real important to understand. Always look at, we just divine dip and stuff and look at scriptures all the time without knowing where is he and who is he talking to. If he's talking to his disciples, he's going to be talking at a higher level. So he's at Philip's home talking to his disciples. And he's been talking to them about the kingdom of the soul. The inner kingdom of the soul I may explain in parables. Parable number 1. The Son of Man, which is Christ, goes forth and scatters seeds of truth. God waters well the soil. The seeds show life and grow. First comes the blade, then the stalk, then the ear, and then the full wheat in the ear. Then the harvest comes and the reapers bear their ripened sheaves to God, to the Lord. Simple. Again, this kingdom of the soul is like a little seed that men may plant in fertile soil. 1,000 of these seeds would scarcely be a shekel's weight. The tiny seed begins to grow, it pushes through the earth, and after years of growth, it is the mighty tree, and birds rest in its leafy bowers, and men find refuge beneath its sheltering boughs. You remember that one, I'm sure, as the mustard seed, the parable of the mustard seed. So what do we feel in these 2 parables? A seed of truth. A seed of truth is planted in the consciousness of man. And who waters that seed? God. God waters the seed. And then the seed begins to grow, and the seed begins to become. And it's stages. In the first parable, first it's a plant, and then a branch, and then the fruit begins, and then the full ear is there. A process of growth that happens without conscious mind participation of the one who received the seed. Ooh, don't you want to grow that way? Yes. Give me a speck of truth and take over, God. That's the easy way, isn't it?
Yeah.
But that's the truth. And that's what he's saying, the kingdom of the soul. When a spark of God truth moves into you and you accept it, and it finds fertile soil, you accept it, it will be watered by God by right of divine vibration, and it will grow within you until it transforms who you are. And over time, you will become stronger and stronger. So what we say metaphysically, once planted, the power of the seed, the tiny spark of God, will grow through the soil or the circumstances of our lives. until it reaches its full potential.